Darlene and I have a pretty cool presentation to show you. So as Ryan mentioned, we're going to be talking about customizing your Counterpoint experience. I'm going to jump right in. We're going to cover kind of some reasons why you might want to customize your Counterpoint experience, what types of things can be customized, inspo, for those people that don't know what that word means, that's inspiration. And that's where Darlene will show you some of the really cool things that she's done in some of her demo touchscreens. And then of course we have a resource page with all the links to the help documentation that gives you the full instructions on how to make some of these changes. So why would you want to customize your Counterpoint experience? When you walk into a store, like say the Apple store, for example, notice they have a very palpable brand experience. So in your store, in your environment, you want to create a brand experience that's immersive for your employees and for your customers, something that exudes your values, your mission, and all of those fun things, because it's a way to get people plugged in and engaged and just really there for you and coming back again and again to support your business. It also is a great way to streamline processes, as Darlene will show you later on in this presentation. With some of the touchscreen tricks that she has, you can really greatly streamline the checkout experience and many other things in Counterpoint. So some things that can be customized. This is basic Windows functionality, but basically changing your desktop background for your point of sale units and customer facing display is going to instantly give your brand visibility to anyone that's coming up to that register. You can update your Counterpoint login screen, and I'll show you how to do that. It's a really cool trick that I just learned recently. You can update your credit card readers with a logo or with rotating ads. You can update your Counterpoint touchscreen, and Darlene will delve more into that. And you can even customize your customer add on the fly form. So when you're adding new customers into your system to add to your loyalty program, to be able to market to them in the future, you can streamline what information you're gathering for them so that they are not, giving out all their information. It's just a couple quick things and they're set up and you're off and running with the transaction. So I'm going to pause my screen and I'm going to show you my trick really quickly that I learned about updating the Counterpoint splash screen. It's really cool. And if I can do it, anyone can do it. Okay, so we have this custom splash screen image that Ryan made for me. So this is all in the help. All the instructions are right here. I'm basically just going to copy this path, and this is going to be the same for everyone because this is where the Counterpoint files live. So I'm going to go and I'm going to just paste this address into my Finder. It takes me right there. So now what I do is just drag this in here. Can I drag it? Drag it in here. I do have to rename it just because we don't want that one in there. Okay, and now when I launch Counterpoint, watch what's going to happen. Do you see that image is different than the standard Counterpoint image? You also can update your logo here where it says Counterpoint. That's not something that we're going to show today, but we have some really great other things to share. So I'm going to stop sharing and Darlene is going to take it from here.
Great, thanks Ariel, and hello everybody. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen, and what we're going to do is we're going to start by looking at the touchscreen, my version, because everything is customizable. So everyone has a unique touchscreen because you can customize the look. You can customize the buttons at the top. The buttons that you see here can perform a lot of different types of actions. These are fixed buttons, so regardless of where you go within the touchscreen, these stay fixed. I'm sure you guys know most of that. You may or may not know that you can actually customize this column header. So this allows you to launch Column Designer, and this is, of course, if you have the rights to do so. And then you can actually add specific items here. So if you want to add any of these features or functions in this view, you can simply just hit add and then it will update that. You can also come here and scroll over item number, and then you can go ahead and add a different font. You can add a shading to it, a color shading. So you can do a lot just like within the system. So Column Designer allows you to do that. If you save this as a default, if you have the rights to perform this function and you save it as a default, it's going to save for the entire organization. But you can also save it for a specific user as well. So I wanted to just show you a couple of things in touchscreen, and then I'll show you how I did it. So I'm sure most of you use the button functions, whether you use them to sell products or not. There's lots of functions that you can add to your touchscreen. So this is selling through the button layer, and I have an item note that's popping up here. So that's called a button layer. You can also do things like a filtered lookup. So for example, I have a filtered lookup of my perennials. And maybe a customer comes to the register and says, hey, could you tell me what you have in stock for perennials that need certain sun requirements? If you've hired someone new, they're maybe not so educated, you could actually set up a filtered lookup for them and then show descriptions so that they can talk more about that plant. You can do filtered lookups for a lot of different things. Like, for example, for a liquor store, on my liquor store touchscreen, I have a filtered lookup for craft beers, so that if somebody says, what do you have for Colorado beers? I just hit my filter, my craft beers, and then Colorado, and I have a filtered lookup for just Colorado beers. You could do filtered lookups based on description, based on a profile field. So there's lots of different ways that you can set that up. So that's filtered lookup. And the other thing I wanted to talk about would be run pages. And I'm going to show you how you'll be able to do that in the touchscreen editor. So this is a run page. And again, we're at a garden center, but my garden center also does landscaping or sells to landscapers for various jobs. So I've set up a run page to prompt the cashier to ask the kind of questions that they need to ask to create an order. So if I hit my order button here, am I going to process an order or add a new? So that one button is a button page. This is a run page. So now it's saying, before we start this order, who is the customer? So we'll say it's Lowry Mitchell. And what is their job number? So I'm going to add the job number in. And where are we shipping it? So I could do a copy bill to or enter their shipping information. I'm going to just do a copy the address so we can get through this. And then where is it going to be dropped off? So I want this to print on the ticket. So, so I'm going to add some notes here. Okay, so again, by clicking one button, my new order, it actually ran me through an entire run page, and all the details I needed to was collected just by clicking the order and then the new order. And yeah, I mean, let's go take a look at the button editor now. And I'll show you how I actually created those items, and we'll talk a little bit about that. Let me close out of this. I'm going to avoid this ticket. So now I'm going to go into touchscreen codes, and you can find that by going to the magnifying glass and typing this in, and it's going to present that here. So your search functions are awesome, or you're actually going to find it by going into setup and then point of sale and then touchscreen codes. Okay, and so these are my touchscreens. So I have a few here, but not many. But I would imagine retailers might have a unique touchscreen for the holidays, maybe some unique touchscreen for like Mother's Day. So you can have multiple touchscreens that you can pick from. But here's the touchscreen we were just looking at. So this is the touchscreen editor, so the button editor. So basically, when I click on a button, if you noticed, all of this information changed. Let me start at the first tab and then we'll talk more about the actual button. So the first tab is general. So this is where you can size your buttons. So if you want to make your buttons smaller, you can lock the screens too, so that it stays consistent and it's a perfect square. You can change the button styles. So I have it as a gradient. Metro is the newest. I don't see much of a difference between the two. These aren't so attractive, so I'd stick with these two. You can set up multiple rows. So I have, these are my fixed rows, my item rows. So when I say fixed rows, these are the two down here. Oops, sorry. These are the two rows down here. And then my item rows, these are my item rows. And I looked into this because it's typically the first question I get is how many buttons can I put on my screen? Well, there's no limit to the amount of buttons, but obviously there's a limit to the amount of real estate that you have on your screen. So again, you can, and Diane, which I know all of you know, most of you at least, Diane indicated that the more buttons you have, the longer it takes to load. So just keep that in mind. So these are my rows, and then these are my columns. Okay, so so now let me go ahead and click on, let's take a look at this button. So if you recall, when we did the touchscreen demo, this was a button that allows me to go to another button page and sell items. So here's the way you set it up. So if I was to create a new one, I start here, and then I'm gonna look for button page, okay? And then what I need to do is I need to create an, I can add an image, I can add a caption, and then you would pick the button page that you're going to associate with it. And I don't know why I jumped over a new button, but I just wanted to show you that that's what you would do when you're creating new. But so again, this is what we did. So button page, the image, and then for images, you can do PNG images, JPEG images, and you store them in your top level directory under, I believe it's item images is where you're going to want to store them. But you can also, from here, click on this button and then it allows you to choose your image. So go find it on your computer, and then it will automatically store it where it needs to go. So the caption is going to be clothing. So that's what you see here. And then the hint is what appears if you hover over it. And then the colors I have consistent because I just wanted gray. And then you can edit your font per image. Usually you want it to be consistent, but sometimes you might want to get more text than it allows. So you might want to minimize that font for that one button. And then direct it to the appropriate button page. Now, when you are creating a brand new page for buttons, you would have to create a new page first. So it has to be there before you can assign it. So in this case, I'm assigning it to clothing. So when I click that, this is my clothing page. So that's creating a button page. A filtered lookup, like perennials. So this is, the action item is item from lookup. And again, you have the same options. You can enter an image, caption, the hint. And then the filter is based on my item category. So you can add multiple filters here. And I'm sure most of you know this trick, but whenever you see a filter box, you just simply do a right click and customize. And this basically allows you to add just about any field to filter on within the item record. So in this case, I just have the item category here. And as a result, when I click this in touchscreen, it's just going to filter that lookup based on the item category named perennials. Okay. And then the other one, the run page, is my order button. Well, this is actually a button page because I'm going into a menu. So this is my button page first. And when I go to the menu, I have my order button, which is my run page. So this is my run page. And basically what you do is you, actually, I think I picked the wrong one. Or it's, oh, okay, here we go. So let me get out of this for a second. Just make sure I am in the right page so I don't misdirect you here. Okay. Yeah, good thing I did because it's order options. Order options and, oh, I guess I was right, landscape orders. Okay, so when you're doing a run page, what you need to do is create a page that is actually going to be the order in which you want to appear for the cashier. So immediately in my case, it's an order line because we're placing an order for the landscaper versus a sale line. It's prompting me to add a customer. So the next action is customer from lookup. And then I added a ticket profile code for jobs. So I created a ticket profile code and I called it jobs. So that's why it's pulling that up. And then I'm asking it to enter the ship to address and then enter notes. So that's essentially what you do when you create a run page. You basically just put the order in which you want the actions to occur. And that is how we created the run page. And let's go back to the main page here. There we go. I guess the other thing that let's just talk a little bit about the layout. So the layout button allows you the ability to just kind of determine where, where your items and fonts are going to appear on the button. The totals option, so this is what you're seeing down here. You can change the look and feel of the totals area. So there are some out of the box, you have the ability to look at some different options. So if I chose like the detailed option and we look at preview, this is what that looks like. If you can see that down below. I apologize, I'm moving a bunch of tools around on my screen because they're the Ring Central tools. So again, we just changed that. I haven't saved it yet. It's just in view mode only, so we can take a look at what we've done. And then the last tab is pausing at quantity for items that you are going to have entered into your ticket. I did want to just say that you can, we'll go back to this one that I created. These are all the options that are available to add on a button. So it isn't only about selling items or filtered lookups or run pages. You can do a bunch of things from the touch screen. So again, these are all your different options. And the list just goes on and on and on. So I highly encourage you all to just explore that. because again, the opportunities there are endless.
I want to just amend that statement and say we encourage you to explore this in practice company before you make any changes to your live company.
Great. Thanks, Ariel. Good point. All right. So I want to also show you, we're going to get out of this and not save it. I was going to show you a touchscreen for Goodwill. So we have some Goodwill organizations on the call, and I just kind of wanted to just let you see how different they can look, you know, based on what you do. Okay, so this is my Goodwill touchscreen. So here I have, again, I added a whole bunch of buttons here. I can launch my discount codes, which is a function on touchscreen. I can launch the ability to sell gift cards, again, a function on touchscreen. I have my items doing different things. So if I go to women and I go to pants, instead of the actual item appearing, I can pick a price point. So I have it set up that way on my touchscreen for Goodwill. And then if I hit pay here, Ariel really wanted me to show roundup. I can hit yes for roundup, and then it will round up to the nearest dollar. Well, I guess I have it set up to round to $1. And then I can complete that transaction. And again, the touchscreen can do a lot of different things. So that actually had a switch turned on that wanted me to pause and say, you know, would that be it before you actually complete the transaction? So that's why that popped up. And so that's my Goodwill database. That's adding a donation. And then it actually pops it right on the ticket screen. So that's pretty much what I wanted to show today. I know we have a very limited amount of time, and I know that Ariel wanted to open it up for questions at the end of the event. So I'm going to stop my share now, and we'll be available to answer your questions.
I think Ariel had a slide or two to go over still.
I just did want to show, thank you, Ryan. I just wanted to show the resources slide. So if you all have any questions while I'm talking through this, please feel free to put your questions in the Q&A or in the chat so we can address those. But there's a lot of stuff that we did not cover today. So if you'd like to see that in an upcoming webinar, if you could just let us know in the chat what you'd like to see, that would be really great, so we can start creating content that you know, that you're asking for. So so some things we didn't talk about was actually how to customize your customer facing display. There are a lot of options that are standard in Counterpoint, and so it's all right in the help documentation. If I click this link, it's going to take us right to this page in the online help that shows you exactly how to do it, and it shows you even some different options for grids that you can add. We did talk about changing the background image on the splash screen. You guys saw me do that. It was super duper easy, so I have faith in you. I know you can do it. Make it look pretty, make it your own. Adding a logo, images, or ads to your EMV readers. We did not walk you through how to do that, but all of the documentation is right here in Counterpoint. So you can choose whether you display a sequence of images, a single image, and then for different types of environments. And the same thing if you're on those legacy ISC 250 card readers, you can do it on those as well.
So obviously, these links are very complex, and I will send this PowerPoint along with the recording. But if you just can't wait, I've been adding the links to the chat. So feel free to click on those links if you don't want to wait. a day or two until I can email it to you.
Thanks, Ryan.
Sure
And then,
thing.
and so if you want to see more of this stuff, again, sign up for our upcoming webinars, provide your feedback on what you want to see, different ways that you can sign up or see what our upcoming webinars are, or our monthly newsletter called The Checkout. If you're not subscribed, but you want to be, please let us know. You can email marketing@retailcontrolsystems.com. Ryan will get that. He'll make sure that you're signed up for the newsletter. Alternatively, you can register for webinars on our website, retailcontrolsystems.com/resources/webinars. There will always be a list and a registration link for all of our upcoming planned webinars.